Carter!
The Dutton Ranch Season 2 trailer has dropped the detail that changes everything the audience thought it understood about both kidnappings, and the name at the center of it is not Mariano Reyes. The name is Tom. Tom Weaver took Tate Dutton to Texas. Mariano Reyes took Carter to Mexico. Both of them did it on the same night. Both of them chose Texas as the operational center of their leverage. And the trailer for Marshall's Season 2, which aired alongside the Dutton Ranch Season 1 finale on the same night, shows Tom Weaver's criminal network already making its next move against Kayce, while Carter is simultaneously in a cartel van heading south from Rio Paloma. The question that the entire Yellowstone universe is now reckoning with is not whether Tom and Mariano acted independently, it is whether they acted at all, or whether both kidnappings were coordinated by people above both of them, using two separate Dutton sons as simultaneous leverage against two separate Dutton family members who have never been in the same place at the same time. Did Tom Weaver know about Carter when he took Tate to Texas? Is the mining syndicate behind Tom Weaver connected to the cartel network behind Mariano in ways the audience has not yet been shown? Did Mariano take Carter on the same night as Tom took Tate because someone told him that was the night to move? Will Beth Dutton understand before Kayce does that the two kidnappings are not parallel accidents, but a single coordinated operation designed to neutralize every Dutton who survived Yellowstone? And what does Tom Weaver's fate in Marshall's Season 2 mean for Carter's odds of coming home alive? Every one of those questions has an answer, and this breakdown covers all of them. The single most important line in the entire Dutton Ranch Season 1 finale is not Mariano's phone call, and it is not Carter being pushed into the van. It is Rip Wheeler, standing in the darkness outside the ranch house after the shootout, turning to Beth and saying it directly. They do not want Carter, they want us. And Beth's response is the thesis statement for everything that Season 2 is going to build. She says then they are going to get them. Those two exchanges, delivered by Cole Hauser and Kelly Riley in the final minutes of El Padrino, are not just the emotional ending of Season 1. They are the clearest possible signal about what Season 2 is going to be. Not a rescue story in the traditional sense, but a deliberate, methodical, fully unleashed Dutton response to the people who believed that taking Carter would make Beth and Rip retreat. What makes those two lines so significant is not just their content, but what they reveal about both characters in the moment they are spoken. Rip Wheeler is not panicking. He is analyzing. He understands immediately that Carter is not the objective, he is the instrument. Mariano took Carter not because Carter has value to him, but because Carter has infinite value to Rip and Beth. And a man whose one strategic asset is the people his targets love is a man who has revealed exactly where he is vulnerable. Beth's response, delivered in the precise register that Kelly Riley has used for Beth Dutton's most terrifying moments across 6 seasons, tells the audience that she understood everything Rip just said and has already moved past the analysis into the response. They are coming. However, unfortunately, the trailer footage now confirms that the threat is not coming from one direction. It is coming from two simultaneously. Tom Weaver has Tate in Texas. Mariano has Carter heading south. And the distance between those two operations is the exact distance between Kayce Dutton in Montana and Beth Dutton in Texas, the distance between two branches of the same family that have not shared a screen since Yellowstone ended, now positioned on opposite sides of the same trap. The evidence from the trailer makes it devastatingly clear that whoever set this up understood the Dutton family well enough to know that separating the threat would separate the response. And keeping Kayce focused on Tate, while keeping Beth and Rip focused on Carter, is the most effective possible way to keep the most dangerous family in the Yellowstone universe from realizing they are fighting the same enemy. The most likely explanation for the coordination between the two kidnappings is the one that the Marshall's Season 2 trailer has been hiding in plain sight since it dropped. Tom Weaver was a former stockbroker before he became a Montana rancher. The evidence from his Season 1 arc in Marshall's, in which he was revealed as the orchestrator of assassination attempts on Thomas Rainwater and the man behind a mining syndicate that needed East Camp acquired, shows a man with connections that go far beyond rural Montana. He has access to capital, to legal structures, to networks of people who operate across state lines and international borders. The mining operation that Tom Weaver was protecting in Season 1 is not a local business. It is the kind of extraction enterprise that requires permits, political cover, supply chains, and partnerships with organizations that can move people and resources across jurisdictions without attracting attention. The evidence strongly suggests that the syndicate above Tom Weaver has exactly those kinds of partnerships. And one of those partnerships may be with the cartel network that Mariano Reyes controls. However, unfortunately, the most chilling implication of that theory is what it means for Carter. If Tom Weaver's people and Mariano's people are connected at a level above both of them, then Carter is not simply a cartel hostage. Carter is a chess piece in an operation that was designed to run on two fronts simultaneously, and the people holding him know exactly what Rip and Beth are capable of, because the same syndicate that understands the Duttons well enough to take Tate and Carter on the same night also understands that keeping both brothers separated across different jurisdictions is the only way to prevent the family from converging into a single unstoppable force. The evidence strongly suggests that the syndicate above Tom Weaver is not a Montana mining operation wearing a criminal face. It is a network large enough to coordinate with a Mexican cartel, sophisticated enough to choose the same night for both kidnappings, and patient enough to have been building this position across the entire run of both shows' first seasons. However, unfortunately for that network, the coordination it believes gives it an advantage over the Duttons is also the thing that will eventually reveal it. Because when Kayce Dutton and Rip Wheeler compare notes in Texas, they will find the thread that connects both kidnappings to a single source. And following that thread is the most dangerous thing anyone has done to the people behind it. But the theory that changes the Season 2 calculus completely is the one that concerns Kayce Dutton's destination. Tom Weaver told Kayce he was taking Tate on a fishing trip to Texas. Kayce did not know at the time of that invitation that Tom was the man behind every attack on his team and on Thomas Rainwater. Kayce let his son get into a vehicle with a man who had been running a criminal operation against him all season, because Tom had built the relationship carefully enough that the invitation seemed like genuine kindness. The evidence from the Marshals Season 2 trailer now shows Kayce understanding the truth. The footage shows him dealing with what the show's own articles describe as crime lords, with Dolly Weaver at his side and the confrontation inside East Camp already underway. The most logical conclusion from those two data points, Tom took Tate to Texas, and Kayce is now in a war with Tom's syndicate, is that Kayce Dutton is coming to Texas. The evidence from the geography of this franchise, confirmed by Slash Film, Men's Journal, and MovieWeb on the day both finales aired, is that Beth and Rip Wheeler are already there. Rip says in the finale that Carter is in Mexico, heading south from Texas. Kayce will arrive in Texas looking for Tate, and the evidence strongly suggests that the moment Kayce Dutton and Rip Wheeler are in the same state for the first time since Yellowstone, the game changes completely for everyone holding a Dutton child. And if that convergence proves correct, the consequences for Tom Weaver in Season 2 are ones that even a man who has spent years building criminal networks cannot survive. The evidence from Rip Wheeler's history is unambiguous. He handled 7 cartel gunmen at Dutton Ranch in one night without losing a single ally, and deliberately kept one alive for intelligence purposes. Not out of mercy, out of strategy. A man who thinks that strategically in the middle of a firefight will not be less strategic when he has time to plan, resources to deploy, and allies who are equally motivated. Tom Weaver, for all his networking and syndicate connections, has never dealt with anything like what is now orienting itself in his direction. The evidence from Cole Hauser's interviews, describing Season 2 as full Yellowstone mode, tells the audience exactly what that means. The evidence from the trailer's footage of Kayce fighting through East Camp with the same trained efficiency he showed in Season 1 tells the audience that the Kayce Dutton heading to Texas is not in procedural mode either. Two of the most dangerous men in the Yellowstone universe are now converging on the same geography for the first time, and Tom Weaver is standing in the middle of it. While the Tom Weaver connection and the convergence theory dominate the Season 2 setup, there is another storyline quietly building in the background that every fan needs to pay attention to, and it belongs to Joaquin. Joaquin Jackson Reyes killed Rob Will on Mariano's orders. That act, performed in the final minutes of the Season 1 finale, revealed where Joaquin's loyalty actually resides when the pressure becomes absolute. He is not a man caught between two families. He is a man who made a choice, and the choice was his biological father over his adoptive brother. However, unfortunately, what Joaquin does not yet know is that his choice has set in motion a chain of consequences extending far beyond Rio Paloma. By killing Rob Will and allowing Carter to be taken on the same night, Joaquin has created a chain of events that will eventually bring both Beth Dutton and Rip Wheeler into the same geographic zone as him. Neither of those men is a forgiving presence when a member of their family has been hurt. Joaquin has Rip's adopted son in a van heading to his father's cartel. He has Kayce's biological son in the hands of a criminal organization that may be coordinating with that cartel. The evidence from how the Yellowstone universe has always handled betrayal at this level suggests that Joaquin's arc in Season 2 is not a redemption story. It is a reckoning, and the reckoning is going to arrive from directions he cannot anticipate. The secondary thread that Season 2 is going to need to resolve before either kidnapping can be addressed is the question of Beulah Jackson's intelligence value. Beulah ran a criminal arrangement with Mariano Reyes for 15 years. She knows his contacts, his routes, his communication methods, his preferences, and the geography of his operation, on both sides of the Texas-Mexico border. She also knew Tom Weaver, through the overlapping networks that connected South Texas ranching with interstate criminal operations, well enough to have at least a partial picture of how those worlds intersect. The evidence from the Season 1 finale shows Beulah confessing the truth of her arrangement to Everett McKinney and to Beth and Rip, which means she has already crossed the line that kept her in Mariano's world. She can no longer go back to the arrangement she had. What she can do is give Beth and Rip the specific intelligence that no law enforcement database and no cartel intelligence operation could ever provide. The kind of knowledge that comes from 15 years of proximity to a man who trusted her because she had no other option. That knowledge includes contact points that predate modern communication surveillance, transfer routes that were established before Mariano's current organization existed in its present form, and the names of people inside Mariano's network who have been loyal to Beulah personally for years and who may be willing to provide access that no amount of money or force could buy from the outside. The evidence from Annette Bening's performance across Season 1, which Collider described as Emmy caliber even in the episodes where Beulah was ostensibly the antagonist, suggests that Beulah in Season 2 is going to become the most valuable strategic asset Beth and Rip have, and the most emotionally compromised one, because every piece of intelligence she provides about Mariano is intelligence she helped him build. Ed Harris, who admitted he felt underused in Season 1 and has been explicitly promised a larger role in Season 2, is almost certainly going to be positioned alongside Beulah as the operational backbone of whatever Beth and Rip plan. Everett's military background, and his now complete knowledge of everything that happened at Dutton Ranch, making him the one person outside the family who can be trusted with the full picture. The cross-show thread that makes everything above so significant is also the most clearly confirmed element of the entire Season 2 setup. The stage is set, as Slash Film put it on the day both finales aired. Tom has Tate in Texas. The cartel has Carter heading south from Texas. Beth and Rip are in Texas. Kayce is coming to Texas. Kelly Riley told People magazine she misses working with Luke Grimes. Cole Hauser told a Marshalls reporter directly that he would love to see the characters cross paths. Spencer Hudnut refused to deny Rip Wheeler's appearance in Marshalls by name when asked directly. The geography, the confirmed character quotes, and the deliberate parallel architecture of both finales all point toward a moment in Season 2 of Marshalls, which premieres October 4th, 2026. Where Beth Dutton runs into Beth and Rip in Texas while hunting Tate, and the three of them realize for the first time that they are fighting different fronts of the same war. Whether that moment extends into Dutton Ranch Season 2 depends on production schedules and what Benjamin Cavell and his writers' room decide during the writing period that Kelly Riley confirmed is running throughout the rest of 2026. However, unfortunately, by the time Dutton Ranch Season 2 begins filming in early 2027, Marshalls will have already answered the crossover question on CBS, which means Dutton Ranch Season 2 will either inherit a universe where Kayce and Rip have already met again, or will be the show that finally delivers the reunion the franchise has been withholding since Yellowstone ended. After everything the trailer reveals and the evidence from the confirmed parallel architecture of both finales has set in motion, the one question every fan is now focused on above all others is the simplest. When does Season 2 arrive, and how long does Carter have? Dutton Ranch Season 2 has no official premiere date, but the confirmed filming timeline tells the story. Kelly Riley confirmed to The Hollywood Reporter that cameras begin in early 2027, with the writer's room running throughout the second half of 2026. That timeline points toward a late 2027 premiere at the earliest, with 2028 remaining a realistic possibility depending on the season's scope. Marshall's Season 2 arrives on October 4, 2026, which means the crossover question will be answered, or definitively left open on CBS, before Dutton Ranch Season 2 even begins filming. Based on the stage that has been set, based on the geography that has been confirmed, and based on what Tom Weaver taking Tate to the same state where Mariano is taking Carter actually means for this franchise, the wait for both of those answers is going to be the longest stretch of weeks in this entire universe's history. Now the conversation moves to the fans. 3 questions are raging on every platform and need answering before Season 2 arrives. Is the coordination between Tom Weaver's operation and Mariano's cartel a coincidence of timing or a confirmed strategic alliance? And if it is an alliance, does that mean the person who designed both kidnappings is someone above both Tom and Mariano that the audience has not yet met? When Kayce Dutton arrives in Texas looking for Tate and finds himself standing in the same geography as Beth and Rip, does the show give the audience the reunion it has wanted since Yellowstone ended, or does it find a way to place them within miles of each other without ever putting them in the same frame? And the question that Beth's final line in the Season 1 finale made personal for every fan who has followed her across 5 seasons of Yellowstone and into Dutton Ranch, when they finally get them, is Carter still alive to see it? The video on screen covers everything else fans need to know before Season 2 drops.